Eu sou Sylvia Hartmann e você está assistindo ou ouvindo ao RemotaCast, o seu podcast sobre trabalho flexível. Aqui eu converso com quem está na vanguarda do trabalho remoto ou híbrido no Brasil e no mundo. Essa temporada é uma produção da Remota com oferecimento da Logitech. Para trabalhar de qualquer lugar com qualidade, presença e colaboração, a tecnologia certa faz toda a diferença. Com webcams, headsets, mouses e teclados, a Logitech é a parceira ideal de quem leva o trabalho flexível a sério. A empresa ainda conta com inteligência artificial para aprimoramento de som e imagem com foco em performance e ergonomia. Torne a sua rotina mais produtiva e a sua cara com Logitech. Aponte a câmera para o QR Code na tela ou clique no link na descrição do episódio e conheça a linha completa da Logitech. Bem-vindas a mais um episódio do RemotaCast e hoje a nossa convidada super especial é a Delphine Donné. Ela é General Manager da Logitech, da linha Personal Workspace Solutions Business Group globally, ou seja, ela tem uma posição global super relevante na Logitech. Ela está aqui hoje para comentar todo esse fenômeno e as mudanças de trabalho e, óbvio, como a Logitech tem acompanhado isso em termos de produto, posicionamento, desenvolvimento e etc. You are very welcome, Delphine. Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you for having me today.
Would you like to introduce yourself, your position? Would you like to tell us a bit more of your role, what you do exactly at Logitech?
Yes, of course. So I'm Delphine Donné. I'm French citizen. I work in Switzerland for Logitech, and I've been with the company for 19 years. I've been in tech for now more than 27 years, and I fell into tech a bit by accident. I always wanted to help people's life and make it simpler, and I discovered that technology was an amazing way of achieving that ambition. And it's been a very diversified industry and many opportunities from a work point of view. So really glad to be with you and sharing a bit more about my experience.
Yeah, we're very glad to. Thanks again. Logitech is recognized for designing human experiences, not just devices. How do you translate that vision into the way the company creates solutions, especially for flexible work?
Absolutely. Our mission is obviously really important to us. It's rooted in everything we do. We want to help people extend their potential in work and play. And my role is to focus on the portion that is related to work. And we are a design software-enabled hardware company, and we've been innovating for more than 40 years to create solutions that, again, help people create, connect, communicate. And at the end, everything we do on a daily basis is to focus on how we can help people work smarter and live better.
Great. And what does the ideal workplace looks like to you personally?
It's important for us to, in what we do, to represent all users, all type of users, from people who want simple solution to people who want advanced solutions and completing complex tasks and on different screens and application. And for me, a good solution is somewhere when you arrive in the morning, you feel you have your perfect setup, you feel excited for the day, and you are comfortable and you feel at your best in terms of productivity and intuitiveness of the solution as well, whether it's hardware or software solution.
Yeah, I can tell you for sure that would be me. That's how I feel when I start working every morning. And not just because I was able to choose the place and where I wanted to work, but yes, I do have the best technology also due to Logitech. So this makes total sense. And from your perspective, how has the very concept of workspace evolved since 2020, and what role does flexibility play in this transformation?
It's an amazing question. I think we were extremely well positioned before the pandemic. At Logitech, we already had a diverse portfolio of solutions between mice, keyboard, webcam, tablet, keyboard, whether you work at a desk or on the go. The pandemic has really helped to create the awareness of the importance of a good workplace setup. So you can be comfortable, you can feel productive during the day, but you don't have any pain at the end of the day. And that's been really important because before, a lot of people were working maybe just with their laptop or even on their sofa for a few hours. Once you start working 8 hours a day at a desk, if you don't have the right setup, you can easily have neck pain or hands pain. And that's given us, obviously, a lot of awareness and an opportunity to engage with people for the right setup more than ever. Now, what is amazing is that most people work in multiple places during the day. We have more than 75% of people globally that work in at least 2 places. And that can differ, obviously, from one person to another, from their engagement with technology and also the type of activities they have. And it depends also how their company is getting the equipment for them or how you are set up at home, whether you have a dedicated place or not, and whether you work on the go or you take your work with you in different places.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I see, at least here in Brazil, many companies are still discussing where to work. And I see Logitech and also myself and my company, we are working on how to work. We invest in solutions for companies to improve the way people should work and work better. What is your perspective on this distinction?
It's a very important part of, I believe, the evolution of how companies, IT managers, or leaders are considering including everyone in this transformation of flexible work. I'll give you my personal example. I have teams, innovation teams and commercial marketing teams across the world between North America, Europe, and Asia. And obviously, we can't always be together face to face, and I have people working remotely and some people coming to the office on a regular basis. And the way we think about our solutions, we have to understand our users, and it's important we actually embrace this flexible work spirit. And for each person, the setup is going to be different. It depends on your size and anatomy for the ergonomy. So, for example, in my case, I use a MX Anywhere mouse and smaller keyboards that is better for my size, but always have a higher, bigger screen with a webcam to make me come across in the best possible way. And it's important as well when you go to the office and you have a meeting in a meeting room to consider that there are also some people that are calling from home, and you want to include everyone. So, for example, our rally bar and our site camera that can allow the person who is online to have an engagement with each person in the room. So the rally camera may show the entire meeting room, but the side camera will then focus on one person at a time who is speaking. So it's an opportunity for better inclusion and understanding the differences and bring the voice of each and every employee into the conversation.
And that's key. One of the main findings of my research was that onboarding, it's probably one of the most important human resources practices when you work remotely. And by remotely, I'm not just saying people working each one from their own houses, but I mean distributed. When you have global companies or companies distributed across countries, and you have teams in different places, as you just mentioned, it is very important to help onboarding new people and to help the current employees to be really connected. And we know that image and voice and body language, because we still have body language here. You can't see me standing, but we definitely have body language. And I know, I do know that technology is very important to this process. What I try to do here from my side is it's trying to help leaders and professionals and companies to understand that their behavior also play an important role in adding people that are in other places. But the minimum we have to have, it's good technology. And it's amazing to see how your products, Logitech products, have evolved in a way that helps connecting everyone. So this is very important to the business when we think remote and distributed. A sua empresa é remota, mas o trabalho não flui como deveria? Ou você adotou um modelo híbrido, mas cada área funciona de um jeito, não existe alinhamento entre as lideranças, causando insatisfação na equipe, e no fim das contas, ninguém segue as regras? Aqui na Remota, te apoiamos a implementar o trabalho flexível com intenção e consistência. A partir do nosso assessment organizacional, o Remota Scorecard, fazemos um diagnóstico completo do seu modelo de trabalho, apoiado em dados, e entregamos para você um relatório completo com informações, boas práticas, pontos de melhoria e como você pode ter um trabalho flexível sustentável. E se a sua empresa já tiver práticas estruturadas nos modelos flexíveis, a gente reconhece isso com o selo Remote First da Remota. Aponte a câmera para o QR Code ou clique no link aqui na descrição do episódio e agende uma reunião. And on this point, what emerging technologies, what other technologies do you see are going to help improving remote and distributed and flexible work in the near future?
Well, I think it's a very important point, and there are quite a few aspects to take into account for onboarding and younger talent, for example. So at Logitech, we have gravity days. So for people who are not too far from our office, we ask at least to come 2 days a week, because that's an important part of understanding the culture and values of the company, but also being exposed to the ways of working, learning from other leaders. And it's important as well to join certain training, whether it's training online, training on site. That's obviously an important part. The second part is, again, this inclusiveness is really key. My team is half and half, men and women. I have more than 30 nationalities. And of course, we work in different places. Being aware of the different style of each of your team member is really critical, because it's not because you don't speak in a meeting that you don't have value to add to the conversation, or you don't have questions that needs to be answered to perform better. So as a leader, we also have to adapt to that diversity, and we have to adapt our own leadership style. So if someone has not been outspoken in a meeting, and in spite of encouraging people to speak up, it's important to follow up after and ask questions and understand their point of view, so everyone can feel heard and contributing to the company's performance. At the same time, as you mentioned, tools are essentials. That's why having great video conferencing systems in a meeting room is critical, because you want to be perceived at your best. You want to be part of the conversation, even if you can't be there physically. And when you are at home or at a desk, you want to have the equipment that will make you feel better. There is also how we train all employees to use the new AI tools, not just in how we embed AI into our innovation. We obviously have many different solutions that integrate AI, especially in our hardware, software solutions. But you also want employees to feel that the technological transformation is accessible to all, and not everyone is learning at the same speed. So we have all sorts of training to help people use the new AI tools that will help you save time, obviously engage with technology, and potentially also free up some time to either have more personal time and spend more time with your family instead of catching up on your the work you have behind, or start new projects that you were eager to start for a long time. At the end, it will help people dream bigger, companies to grow faster, and that importance of leadership transformation, culture and values with face-to-face interaction, equipment you have in meeting rooms and at the desk, as well as training so everybody can learn at their own pace but feel included in this transformation, are absolutely critical for the future.
Yeah. And you mentioned gravity days. I wasn't aware of this specific term. How exactly does it work? Is it like those days that people go to the office, but is there any type of activity that you stimulate or you influence people do on those days?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, we are trying to design solutions to represent all type of work style that exist across the world. And there are some, as you know, there are some return to the office mandate for certain companies, but other companies are really embracing flexible work. And for many people, flexible work is actually a very important part of choosing a new job as well. And the gravity days are crucial because if you're always working from home, at some point, this human connection that is so important that you can't fully replace with technology needs to be part of your daily life. So the way we are trying to organize it for our teams is that we recommend, for example, Tuesdays and Thursdays to come to the office. Each department obviously may have a different dynamic, but we try to gravitate around 2 or 3 days in the office, because then you get exposed to team members you don't get to see on a regular basis. You get exposed to leaders you may not see every day. For example, for me, I travel every other week, but I still want to connect with people who are in Lausanne, in Switzerland. And it's so nice to be able to talk to people at the coffee machine or suddenly exchange ideas if they see me in the office. So that's part of the dynamic we have across the world. Some sites organize, for example, breakfast, speakers to come on these gravity days. There is, for example, on Thursday, there is a Halloween party in the US in our on site. I think the theme this year is pirates. So that's going to create, obviously, a great atmosphere. Because at the end, we want to work smarter, but we want to live better and have fun together and get to know each other above and beyond work. And also from a leadership point of view, I organize once a quarter some off-site leadership meeting where we can all get together and have some conversations or brainstorm that sometimes are harder to run through Zoom, and have some good debate to decide and align together and obviously execute towards one common goal.
Yeah, this is a great practice that remote and hybrid companies have to organize these retreats once in a while, quarterly, twice a year. There's another company we interviewed here at the podcast. It's a huge startup in Brazil, and they don't necessarily go to the office every week. It depends on the department and the leadership, but they do gather all the leaders at least quarterly, exactly just like you said, to maybe unblock initiatives to discuss the strategy and have look to the future together. It's a great example.
Absolutely. And frankly, this is also what drives me, the energy I get from everybody. It's also always a time of, reflecting on the journey we've come from and learning from the past to prepare the future. It's some of the best moments we have together, yet I am always so impressed by how much we can accomplish together while working remotely. And at the end, when you work for a global company, it's amazing because there is always a time zone that is working while the others are sleeping.
Yeah, exactly. This is a challenge too. And when we think of remote, 100% full remote companies or employees that are so far that they only get to meet their colleagues once in a very while, how can technology help improving these people's experience? Because by we, I mean the market, most HR leaders and professionals are used to develop a great work experience at the offices. You just brought a great example with the Halloween party this week. How can we extend that to remote employees by using technology?
I'm fascinated by how technology can make your life easier and simpler. As you said, that as we discussed earlier, it's why I've been in this field for so long. And the transformation we are seeing is incredible because on one side, again, having the great webcam that makes you look better, having a better audio and video will help you be part of the conversation in a much more productive way. But at the same time, it's important it helps your workflow. So I'll give you a few different examples, but obviously when you have a Zoom meeting, you can easily get your meeting minutes captured by Zoom. That's an opportunity to not worry about what you write down, but it's an opportunity to really engage and be in the conversation so you're more focused. It's an opportunity to share with people who were not in the meeting to have full visibility to what was discussed, but also clear action items from it. At the same time, the tools we have now to co-work and collaborate together on one given document by creating together, posting comments, providing feedback on different presentations, no matter when and how the team is working on it. It's an opportunity to really brainstorm and work together, even if you are remote. And there are just so many opportunities to help you focus and be more productive. When you use any of our headsets or webcam with the AI technology we have in our software, you have better sound, but it remove the background noise, for example. It can blur the background behind you so you don't get distracted with people walking behind you if you're making this call from an open space. But if, for example, you use our Logitech software Option Plus with our MX Master 4, we have tools that helps you be much more productive. So, for example, we have Smart Action. Every morning when you come to your workplace, instead of reopening all your different documents you closed the night before, you customize your software, and with one click, you can get everything open in a certain order so you can get your workflow ready for you. We just launched the Action Ring, which is an overlay where you can easily select different menus when you're working on a Word document. Even you can have your favorite AI link, and you get to your AI without having to come out of your document, choose your application, you get distracted, you lose focus, and then come back to your document. So everything we are doing and innovating is trying to keep you focused in the flow and feeling more comfortable with with the workspace you've set up for yourself?
Yeah, and my next question was going to be about AI, and you just gave us many examples, but what else should we expect? Not just from Logitech, but how you see with your experience from the tech industry. How do you think AI it's gonna keep improving our day-to-day work, especially in a flexible environment?
I'm very excited about the developments that are ahead of us. I can't talk to you specifically about our roadmap, but what is amazing today, AI is still a lot about prompting and typing queries. But if you think about the development of videos and audio and how you can bring all sorts of content and format into your AI tool, favorite AI tool, and how you can create a presentation or get ready for a very important meeting, or even helping you to translate much faster your content that you want to broadcast across the world, it will make you save so much time, make it so much easier for creating content. And again, in turn, you get more time to either work on more projects or having a little bit more time to squeeze to go to the gym, for example, at lunchtime, or spend more time with your family.
Yeah, and at the end, it is one of the main reasons why flexibility is so good for people and consequently to companies. So we must use all the resources that are available to us.
You're so right. Yes, absolutely. And I'm amazed to see that some people, like more than 50% of people who have a laptop today, don't even have a mouse. And if I take a keyboard, I think the stats we have is more than 70% of people still don't have a keyboard. And when you look, for example, a mouse is 50% more productive than a touchpad, just because of the precision, the comfort. You have it all, like it's very intuitive. It's at your fingertips, and you can create so many shortcuts. So all I see ahead of us is opportunities to improve our ways of working.
And when you start, well, not you, the team, all of you start designing new ideas, new products, what is the role of consumer feedback? Do you have a channel to?
It's absolutely crucial. Everything we are doing is rooted in consumer insights and understanding our users better. I'll give you an example on, for example, software developers. Software developers, for them, the world of AI is transforming completely the way they work. And more than ever, they want to be extremely fast, extremely productive. So understanding their workflow from the moment they arrive at their workspace, even like, for example, your workspace might be your mobile phone when you're getting your coffee in the morning and coming to the office, understanding that journey, the pain points they face between the different transition, between the different, between your phone, your PC, the different operating system you use between Mac or Windows, and then the number of applications they use in one day is absolutely incredible. So understanding that journey and trying to look at every single stage of what they do helps us unleash new innovation and new experiences that will help them save time. And then when we start developing a new concept and we have a new idea, we are constantly checking with our users on whether this product is the most ergonomic mouse you can find, the most comfortable mouse, if some of the objectives we had in productivity gains are actually proven. And it's not just a marketing jargon. It's really about helping you work smarter and live better. And it becomes a product that is completely part of your life, and you could not do without it. I'll give you one stat. People who are trying ergonomic solution, for example, one of our most successful mouse, the Logitech Lift vertical mouse.
Wow.
90%, 9 out of 10 people using a ergonomic product will never go back to a traditional mouse. So it really becomes an extension of yourself, an extension of your ears, eyes, hands into the world of AI and digital. But also, for example, we just launched the MX Master 4 with haptic feedback. Not only you're giving instruction now to your into your computer and your work, but you're also getting response back. So it's so intuitive. You feel this haptic. It's very emotional, very tactile. And again, it helps your brain to stay focused, but have the reassurance that you've completed your action with as much precision as you want. So there is just a lot of work we do and check at every single stage of the product development. But we also spend a lot of time understanding how our users and consumers and companies are buying our products, how they discover our products on search and social media, and how they decide to buy a product in stores, for example. So there is a lot of data we collect. And it's the most important is also the feedback we receive once we launch a product. All the reviews, the love we receive, obviously, is very rewarding for the team. But when we see some suggestions for improvements, we always integrate that in the next version of products we develop.
Okay, yeah. And I was thinking here, given that regardless of the workplace where people are actually working, we spend most of the time on computers, at least knowledge workers. So being one with your setup, it's really important to make sure you keep that comfort and you can produce. I remember when the pandemic started, and I'm not sure. I think I had just started my master's degree. And for some time, I was working at home without many resources. And I had a very big problem with my back. And then from now on, of course, it's been years. And now I have Logitech projects. I learned everything related to ergonomy and et cetera. But I can't imagine myself working today 12 hours a day or less or more if I didn't have this setup to help me producing and getting through the day. So
I'm so glad you bring this up because it's so important. And if you don't mind, I'll share a little bit of a personal story.
Yeah, of course.
When I started being the general manager for this business group in 2018, at the time, we had most of our products were full size, big mouse, and we had just launched the MX vertical mouse, the first Logitech vertical mouse, and it's been one of the best performing product. However, I love touching products. I love engaging with the products we develop. I couldn't use this mouse because it was too big for my hands. I have the smallest hands of the team. I couldn't even touch the wheel. And that helped us relook at our portfolio and realize that we needed to have products that were more adapted for the different anatomy. And we embarked into an exploration of ergonomics, inclusion of our product portfolio, and diversity. And we built an ergo lab. So this ergo lab is run with a data scientist and ergonomists that are calculating the muscle strains you have when you use any of our products. And we're always looking at improving. But at the time, I had been traveling a lot and I had pain everywhere in my neck, in my shoulder, in my hands. And one of the ergonomists came to look at my setup and they made me change everything. And frankly, I was very attached to my product, so I was a little bit nervous. I had to move to a smaller, more ergonomic mouse for the size of my hand, which was, in my case, MX Anywhere. to go from a full-size keyboard to a smaller keyboard without the numpad, lower the height of my table, adjust the height of my monitor. And I never thought it was possible. And I'm not making this up, but in 3 days, the pain disappeared. And since then, I've never had pain again due to the way I'm set up at work. And we've helped so many thousands and millions of people to feel better every day. And that's one of our biggest pride.
Yeah. No, I didn't have this specific resource at the time, Logitech, and access to someone, but I did hire a doctor to help me at that point, and it made a big difference. And I didn't even have these products yet, so things just got better and better since we started our relationship. In the past, I've worked with bicycle companies. When I was a marketing director, I worked with sunglasses. And in both cases, it was very important to develop products specific to the different types of bodies. Like for women, it's so important. Or different people from different countries with different structures. It's definitely a good thing to.
I'm so glad you bring this up. And also, it's not just a benefit for the user themselves to feel better and feel more productive. For companies, it's such an opportunity because on one side, so if you think about all the video conferencing equipment that we have, it helps obviously cutting on travel costs. Instead of trying to have everybody traveling to one site more often, you can space a little bit some of these off-site meeting, for example. It also saves time for people on commute time. But if you think about the gain in terms of productivity and well-being, as I mentioned, a mouse is 50% more productive than a touchpad. If you use our MX Master 4 with the action ring, we've made the calculation that you are 33% more productive than a normal setup. And if on top of that, I add the cost of sick days or the time you need to take to go to the chiropractor, see the doctor, it's just a huge benefit. And it's important for all of us, not just the user. So I'm very excited about the transformation we can bring to the ways of working and everybody's life in the future.
Yeah, I am too. And going back to one thing that you mentioned before, that you have lived in many different countries and led teams across continents, how have this multicultural experience shaped the way you lead a global and distributed organization?
Oh, well, that's a good question. I've always been driven by curiosity of learning more about different culture, the way people live, eat, the history, the mindset. There is just so much coming into it. So it's very important, obviously, to understand that we all have biases. We all have different ways of looking at a problem. But when you focus on thinking that everybody has something to add in the conversation, but they have all a different angle. And when you take this feedback and you try to position yourself from their point of view, so often you learn a lot about what you can do better, how we can work together, how to make people comfortable and contribute to the development of the business or the innovation. So that's really shaped the way I am as a leader. At the same time, there are certain countries that have unique contribution to the categories and industry. And I'll give you one. China, for example, is an extremely competitive market. There is more than 500 factories developing mice and keyboard on a daily basis. So you can imagine the type of competition we get in China every day. At the same time, Chinese users are kind of early adopters. They are just eager to try new technology, new style, very engaged in our categories. So once you integrate that in your global strategy, you realize that by innovating in China for China, you learn a lot about consumer behaviors and things that can be very well received in China. It can also be very well received globally and help you become a leader globally. It helps you to be extremely cost efficient and obviously making our product affordable for a broader audience. It helps you find new ways of working because you need to be fast. Chinese competitors are not going to waste time, and it helps you obviously stay ahead of competition globally and develop new ways of working. It helps you understand new ways of doing marketing and communicating. So overall, when you develop products for China, in China for China, it helps you become an even stronger leader in China. Logitech is the #1 brand in China, but also continuously innovate in other countries. That's one example. But when, for example, you develop a product for women and you decide to really understand women in particular, which is the case of Logitech Casa pop-up desk, that really this idea came up during the pandemic, and we were trying to understand if women had a dedicated desk at home, for example. And most of the time, when there is a dedicated space to work, it's rarely for the lady. And that led us to really focus on their challenges and opportunities and why they were not engaged in our category. And we launched this 3-in-1 solution that is extremely easy to prepare in the morning to get your laptop at a better height so you don't have neck pain, a smaller keyboard, touchpad, and be at your best during the day. But when you need to clean up the kitchen table at the end of the day to have dinner, it's easy to pack it home, put it in the library, out of sight, out of mind, and you can focus on your family. So important to understand all these different nuances to build exciting innovation, experience, and a very diverse portfolio.
Yeah, no, this is a great example. And having a dedicated space, and as you mentioned, not just women, but a lot of people don't have a dedicated room or desk to work. And what I normally teach or educate people is to have some type of ritual to make sure you're starting and ending the day. And to your point, having the setup that you can have your work space in the morning and then easily just take it off to have your work, your family routine. It's absolutely necessary to be working from home. Yeah, that's great.
Absolutely. And in spite of all the communication and reach we do, I still sometimes buy gift, obviously, for my friends and family. And I'm always so delighted to hear how much of a difference it made in their day. And they didn't realize that having the right setup, the right equipment could really make such a big difference for them on a daily basis.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And going back to the topic of inclusion and gender equity, how do you see, especially being one of the few women executives in global tech, how do you see, what is the role of flexibility in advancing gender equity and opportunities for women in leadership?
Diversity and inclusion is completely part of our culture and values. So I think it's really important for any companies to integrate that into the values. And it's not just a side project, it's really the way we behave end to end across the board. It helps to have a bigger and better understanding of your audiences and who you want to sell to, but it helps to be more creative and innovative when you have multiple voices that are contributing to your innovation. And my team, again, as I mentioned earlier, is more than 50% women, and we have more than 30 nationalities. And again, across the company, we probably have more than 40 or 50 nationalities working in our company. But it's an important role that leaders have to drive. One, to obviously encourage diverse recruitment. It may take more time, but you find even better talents because you're opening the pool. And when you have flexible work and when you want to recruit specific talents, with the flexible work, some people don't have to be in Lausanne every day. I can recruit talent from France, Germany, Italy, UK. So it opens up suddenly the pool of talent you can reach out to. It also, if you are driving inclusion, for example, Logitech has parental leave. No matter the country, no matter the gender, we have 18 weeks parental leave for all employees. And that creates, obviously, an equality between men and women. And that encourages people to recruit no matter your gender. But also, we are driving different training on biases. So women can understand their own biases, men can understand biases, and we can work better together. And there are so many other benefits you get from it. And at the end, all I can say is Logitech has been in the tech industry for more than 44 years, and we continuously grow and lead the market and gain market share. Q2 results have just been announced, so I'll encourage you all to look at our reports. But it's really core to our mission. And it's not just about diversity and equality. It's also about how we do better for the planet. And sustainability is also a critical point of our mission. And Logitech has been, I don't know if you've seen some of our recent articles, but we have been named by Forbes magazine as one of the top 25 employer of the world amongst real big giants. And we are in the top 1% most sustainable company in the world. So I feel very proud to work for the company and have the opportunity to drive this diversity on a daily basis.
Yeah, no, I congratulate you. It's a big challenge and it's a great place to be. It's very, very, it's an important recognition of the work and the way you work in your culture and how you've been developing this culture along the decades. We are approaching the end of our conversation, but I do have a few more questions to you. On a personal note, and you mentioned before, we've touched on this, but just to make sure I cover this, how do you experience and manage remote and or flexible work yourself in your routine as a global executive, a woman and a global executive?
Well, I think it's made my life much easier, I have to say, because before the pandemic, I was traveling extensively across the world. I have 2 kids that I love dearly. My son is 11, my daughter is 17, and they need their mom to be there as well, like everybody else. So the way I manage now is I go to the office about twice a week. The rest of the time I work from home or I travel around the world. But I have a pretty tight discipline in the sense that I go to the gym twice a week. It's in my calendar. I try not to miss it whatever I have to do. And I always block my calendar from 7 to 9 p.m. when I'm at home or I'm not traveling abroad, to spend time with my family and be there for homework and cooking dinner and be present for them. And the rest of the time, it gives me flexibility to take my calls with the teams abroad on Zoom and not waste as much time in between meetings. And when I go to the office, it's really a time where I'm doing face-to-face engagements and meeting people at lunchtime. And so it's a ongoing dynamic. And of course, I continue traveling because there is nothing better than feeling the energy of the teams on site as well.
Yeah. No, you're very inspiring. You're a very inspiring leader. And lastly, what do you think is the biggest myth about flexible work?
I think the biggest myth is a lot of people think people take advantage of it to not work as much as they did before. And if anything, I believe it helps them focus. When you give them the right tool, they can be even more efficient. And I'll tell you, with the change for me, working from home, which I thought I'll never do before, I've realized how much more I can do. With the AI tools, I work so much better than before. And I don't feel as stressed because I'm late on so many things. And if, I need to get a delivery or something happens, I don't suddenly waste 30 minutes, coming out of the office or trying to grab something. It just, it's made my life easier, more efficient, and frankly, happier. So I'm all for it. And obviously, it's about embracing that spirit, but also training people and staying professional and having a high level of trust for the team and empowering them and encouraging them to be at the best.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Delphine. It was great to have you here. It was you're an inspiring leader, and it was a very inspiring conversation. I think
Thank you.
Our Brazilian listeners are going to get a lot from it. Thanks again, and I hope we have another chance to meet again.
Thank you so much, and see you next time. Thank you.
Obrigada por ouvir o RemotaCast com oferecimento da Logitech. Acreditamos que o futuro do trabalho vai muito além das paredes e que modelos flexíveis, bem desenhados, transformam empresas, cidades e a vida das pessoas. Até o próximo episódio!